Good day everyone, and welcome back to another episode in our What If series, where we bring you insights in the format of a what if question on the ever-evolving landscape of employment law. My name is Ross Simon from Masirimule Corporate Employment Law, and in today's episode we will be unpacking what if an employee who verbally resigns later claims that they were unfairly dismissed, and what if that resignation was sealed with a chocolate bar that literally says, "I'm sorry." Believe it or not, this exact scenario played out in the Labour Court case of Vericred Collections Proprietary Limited versus Moloto and Others. In this case, we unpack how the Labour Court tackled this situation and what it means for you, whether you're an employer or an employee. Let's dive into it. The employee, a performance manager at Vericred since 2018, informed a supervisor on the 18th of January 2024 that she had accepted a job with a direct competitor starting on the 29th of January. Rather than serve a full 1 month notice, she offered just over a week. She was emotional and handed her manager a chocolate bar, the kind that says, "I am sorry." Later that day, the company held a meeting and acknowledged the employee's resignation. The employee raised no objection. Given the commercial risk of the employee moving to a competitor, management asked her to leave immediately and undertook to pay her in lieu of notice. But the next day, the tone changed. The employee emailed HR asking if she'd still be paid if she didn't work her notice. She hesitated to submit her resignation letter and eventually started asking whether being sent home meant she'd been dismissed. She referred a dispute to the CCMA, claiming unfair dismissal. By default, the award was in the employee's favour. The matter ultimately arrived at the Labour Court. The Labour Court dissected the facts and concluded this was a clear, voluntary resignation, not a dismissal. Here's why. The employee's resignation was unambiguous. Her own emails confirmed this. She was negotiating her exit, not contesting it. Her resignation was communicated directly and followed up with conduct consistent with leaving. Most importantly, the employee didn't return to work. She didn't ask to be reinstated. She didn't object when sent home. And she started a new job on the date she originally gave. The Labour Court reiterated a key point in South African labour law. A resignation is a unilateral act. It becomes effective once the employee clearly conveys an intention to end the employment relationship. No resignation letter is legally required, and an employer doesn't need to accept it for it to take effect. The court held that the company acted within its rights to waive the employee's notice period and pay her out, especially given the risk of her moving to a competitor. That decision didn't turn the resignation into a dismissal. So, what are the key takeaways? For employers, always document verbal resignations. Follow up in writing. A simple email or WhatsApp communication would suffice. Act swiftly when an employee resigns to join a competitor, especially if there's a risk to the business. Clarify pay and notice arrangements up front to avoid confusion. You can waive the notice period and pay in lieu. That does not amount to dismissal. For employees, once you communicate a clear intent to resign, it's legally binding, even without a resignation letter. If you change your mind, speak up immediately, not days later. Don't assume being sent home equals being dismissed. Context matters. If you start a new job as planned, your conduct likely confirms your resignation. This case reminds us that intention matters more than formality. A chocolate bar, a verbal announcement, and an early exit all added up to a valid resignation. Whether you're managing resignations or navigating your own exit, make sure your actions match your words. Clarity is your best legal defense. That brings us to the end of this week's episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have found our discussion informative. If you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. You can find us on social media, or you can email me on ross@massconsulting.co.za. Until next time, bye-bye.